Hello sir, my name is Bonlong Prat and today I'm going to present about midterm quality assurance midterm. It's about comparative study of white box testing and black box testing. We need firstly understand the fundamental. The fundamental of white box testing is basically look at the code inside the software, and when we do the white box testing, we can see everything inside the box, and we know exactly how the code works. And for the black box testing, it's basically only look at the input and output of the software and doesn't care about what inside, and we just check if the software behave correctly when we use it, and it's like testing on a closed box where we cannot see the inside, but however it need to meet the user requirement. Um, the white box testing principle and technique. The key principle of white box is that firstly it's look at the actual code. Secondly, it's focused on the measuring code coverage, and thirdly, it check if the code is implemented correctly or not. And these technique there are four. Firstly, it's statement coverage. It ensures a line of code execute at least one. The branch coverage, basically the testing each decision branch in the control structure, and the path coverage, it's testing all the possible paths through the code, and the last one is condition coverage, test each Boolean expression, and um, next is black box testing principle and technique. The black box testing basically focus on how the software behave from the outside, and if it meet the requirement or not, and testing without caring about the implementation. The common technique include firstly equivalence partitioning, basically dividing input data into valid and invalid classes, boundary value analysis, test value at the boundary of the input domains. The third one is decision table testing, systematically test the combination of the input, and lastly it's use case testing. It tests the complete user scenario. Um, Here's another example relating to the black box testing. It's basically test the user input username, is it valid or invalid. It's if it's empty, it's invalid. um, and next one is the advantages and disadvantages of white box. White box is great because firstly it finds hidden error in the code. It tests all the possible code paths. It helps to optimize the performance of the code base, but it's not great because firstly it requires a lot of programming knowledge. It takes longer to create tests, and it might miss bigger picture issue. For the black box advantages and disadvantages, firstly it's great because the black box it tests from the user perspective, and it doesn't require a coding knowledge. It checks if the requirements are met, and that's it. And for the downside is that it may miss critical code path. It's harder to test complex logic, and it can lead to redundant testing. Uh, so when do we use each of them? Uh, we use um, the white box testing for unit testing early in development. It's also for security purposes. Uh, and the third one is that it would make the performance of the code base optimized. And for the black box testing, we use it for system and acceptance testing. It's also for user interface testing. and also party component without source code. And most projects need both approach at different stages. This is the comparative analysis of the tables. Uh, the first one is the aspect. Um, with white box testing and black box testing, the focus white box testing is on code structure. For black box, it's functionality, knowledge required. The white box need to have programming knowledge, and black box no. For the test development, it test on code, and this one based on the requirement that needed from the user. And the typical timing, early development for white box testing, and the later stages for the black box testing. And primary performance white box testing for developer, and this one for tester and user. Test case design, this one is complex, this one is simple. And coverage, this one coverage on code path, and this one coverage on requirement. So real world example, we can take a look at firstly white box testing example. It's have the banking application. Basically, it tests for security feature and examine the code for vulnerability. If the code has bug or any ways to for the hacker to exploit or not. And for the medical devices, and also for medical device software, we have learned it from the Sandvik one. It's talk about the danger of the if it's not perfect, it would result in life loss. And for the black box testing, basically we have mobile gaming. It tests if the game is fun and if it works on different devices. And for the e-commerce and also e-commerce website, it tests checkout flows and also on the customer perspective. Conclusion and reference, key takeaway is that both approaches are valuable and complementary, and the effectiveness of the testing strategy need to have both in order for the application to be the best. And also last one is selection depend on the project context, resource, and the goal of the developer or development firm. That is it for my presentation. Thank you.